A massive row has erupted now after BJP Suvendu Adhikari defeated Mamta Banerjee in Nandigram. Mamta has now demanded a vote recount in Nandigram. Accusing the Election Commission of favouring the BJP, the Trinamool Congress chief alleged that the poll panel retracted after declaring her as the winner. Meanwhile, a three-member Trinamool Congress delegation met with the chief electoral officer seeking a recount. The TMC has alleged that the counting process was stalled at regular intervals and was not reported by the Election Commission. The TMC has also alleged that false votes in favour of the BJP were counted. Suvendu Adhikari toppled Mamta Banerjee by more than 1,700 votes in Nandigram. Now, minutes after registering a historic win in West Bengal, Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee spoke exclusively to India Today's Rajdeep Sardesai. Here's what she had to say.
She has done the Didi-giri in a remarkable manner in this election. The person of the day, Mamta Banerjee, first of all, many congratulations to you on this big day. I want an honest answer. Did you expect such a landslide? This is even bigger than 2016.
Yes, it is. My target was 2-1. My target was, because this is 21, symbolically. So I think these two seats, there will be election on 16, and one seat, the by-election will be there. So ultimately 2-1 will pass. And Election Commission, how they are behaving this time, horrible. And central government along with all the agencies, they work very vindictively against of us.
You know, you have won a big victory, but as of now, Election Commission seems to suggest you have lost in Nandigram. Earlier it was said you were winning. First we were told you are winning, now we are told you've lost.
It is not lost. It is recounting we ask, because there are so many tampering things. And it is not from day one we are saying that Election Commission deputed all their own men there, because so that they can tamper everything. Even election day, you just go to the earlier photo or the statement, then you will see that I was there sitting about 3 hours, because I have seen that nobody was allowed to vote for. So it is not only today, it is totally a conspiracy, bigger conspiracy, along with the Election Commission and the administration. And that administration is also set up.
So you will go to the court?
No, first we are asking.
Will you go to the court, Didi? Will you go to the court?
We are asking recounting. We want VVPAT should be counted. We want postal ballot should be counted. We want everything should be counted from one. Because so many tampered, the machine they tampered like anything. You know, there are some systems, this mafia gang, they can tamper some machine. So this mafia gang operated there. So I want recounting from the beginning. Let the people see the things, actual what happened.
So you have no regrets for contesting from Nandigram. You could have taken a much safer. You could have taken a safer seat. You could have taken a much safer seat. Why did you? No regrets.
No, that is not the matter. That is not the matter. Every seat is for me, and this 221 seat is also, it was my challenge. So it was every seat is my seat. That is not the problem. Problem is they work for the movement, and that's why I thought that I should have given them the salute. It is my salute, nothing else, and I am not worried for Nandigram, because I know that there are Nandigram is nothing to me, and Nandigram, at least I can tell you that I have taken a risk, but it is not risk. I have been victimized by the Election Commission. I have been victimized by the Election Commission and the local administration deputed by the Election Commission from A to Z.
Now, violence ensued in West Bengal's Haldia amid a row over Nandigram results. TMC workers attacked the BJP candidate Suvendu Adhikari's vehicle, even pelted stones when he had reached a counting centre in Haldia. Angry TMC workers were also seen shouting slogans against the BJP and Suvendu Adhikari. Rapid action forces has been deployed in areas. Battleground Nandigram was quite intense, with BJP candidate Suvendu Adhikari winning the seat in neck-and-neck fight against Mamta Banerjee.
You can see over here that there is stone pelting that's happening. Stone pelting that's happening after Suvendu Adhikari arrived here at the counting centre by TMC Karyakartas. We are standing at the counting centre over here. He arrived here briefly, and you can see the TMC party workers over here. Trinamool approaching the Election Commission for a recount over here. You can see over here the party workers of the Trinamool Congress who have gathered over here and who basically have been creating some amount of ruckus after Suvendu Adhikari came here into the counting center. For a few minutes, his vehicle, the convoy vehicle, was pelted with stones and he was heckled away from this counting center behind me in Haldia with camera person Khokon. Palami Saha in Haldia for India Today.
Mamta Banerjee is all set to return to power for a third time in West Bengal. TMC defended its fortress and staved off a massive challenge by the BJP for Bengal's citadel. However, she lost to her former aide, Suvendu Adhikari Nandigram, which she is now contested. Let's take a look.
And Didi has kept her word, beating every single odd. Mamta Banerjee is all set to return to power for a third time in Bengal after the Trinamool defended its fortress and staved off a massive challenge by the BJP for the Bengal citadel.
Third time, the Chief Minister will be Mamta Banerjee. That is written on the wall of West Bengal and written by the people of West Bengal. You have to be secular to fight against a communal force, and that was done by Trinamool Congress.
पिछले अगर चुनाव का आप देखेंगे ट्रेंड तो हम इस पूरे इलाके में प्रेसिडेंशियल इलाके में हमारा बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस नहीं था, पर अभी हमने काफ़ी कोशिश की थी, मेहनत भी यहाँ पर की थी। हमें लग रहा था कि इस बार हम यहाँ पर कुछ गेन करेंगे, पर पूरा प्रेसिडेंशियल इलाका हमारा अभी पिछड़ा हुआ लगता है।
आदरणीय दीदी, ओ दीदी, अरे दीदी,
It was the BJP star power versus Trinamool's one-woman army. It was an election battle like no other, with political temperatures reaching their peak. From the insider-outsider debate to charges of misrule by Pishi Bhaipo Sarkar.
बंगाल में आप गुंडाराज चाहते हो गुंडाराज, टोल मनी चाहते हो, ये टोल बाजों को चाहते हो, ये भतीजे को मुख्यमंत्री बनाना चाहते हो क्या? ममता दीदी की नजर इस पर ही है, मोदी जी की नजर आपके विकास पर, आपके भविष्य पर ठहरी।
From Mamata's injury in Nandigram on the 10th of March, which forced her to campaign on a wheelchair.
4-5 आदमी ने मैं गाड़ी को इधर में खड़ा होकर कंट्रोल कर रहा था। 4-5 आदमी ने मेरे को गाड़ी पूरा बंद कर दिया और उनको पूरा चोट हो गया। देखो कितना कहाँ आपको चोट लगी है दीदी? ओके दीदी कलकत्ता वापस जाएंगे, अभी जा रहे हैं, अभी बहुत जरूरी, अभी जॉब। और ये कहाँ पे हुआ दीदी?
To who was responsible for it? From Didi's Khela Hobe dare to the BJP's Khela Shesh counter.
जो हमसे टकराता है वो चूर-चूर हो जाता है।
अब ये खेल नहीं चलेगा। आप मुझे बताइए साथियों, ये खेल खत्म होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए? दीदी, अब हर तरफ से एक ही आवाज है, टीएमसी का खेला शेष, टीएमसी का खेला शेष, खेला खत्म, विकास शुरू।
From the Election Commission cracking the whip on motor-mouth netas, to Mamata's dharna over the poll panel barring her from campaigning for 24 hours over her Muslim vote appeal remark. If campaigning was intense, so was the 8-phase poll with sporadic incidents of violence. The biggest being the Sitalkuchi firing during the 4th phase of polling on April the 10th, where 4 people lost their lives in a shooting incident by central forces. And before the results, both sides made tall promises.
बिल्कुल 200 पार होंगे, 200 से ज्यादा सीट से भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार बनेगी.
When you put out a tweet saying that if the BJP gets 3 digits,
yes,
you will give up politics?
I will give up this space, meaning
What
I
does
will
that
give
mean?
the
You'll give
work.
up Twitter?
No, I will give up the work which I do.
And what will you do if the BJP gets 3 digits?
I will not do the work which I am doing. I will quit this
You are
space.
serious about
Yeah,
this?
absolutely serious.
And from the looks of it, Prashant Kishore, who was Mamata's poll strategist, is nowhere close to retirement. Mamata has been a giant killer in the past as well, slaying the left front to storm Bengal. But her party is now all set to taste its sweetest victory yet. And while Nandigram has thrown up a scare, Mamata Banerjee has proved that the real Dada of Bengal is Didi.
Now, the assembly elections have witnessed the emergence of 5 big heroes who are all set to change the political landscape in India. Let's take a look at our 5 big game changers.
After one of the most epic rounds of state elections in living memory, who is standing tallest? Who are the heroes? Who are the ones shining the brightest? The undisputed hero of the day title goes to Mamata Banerjee. Facing the most ferocious, unrelenting and aggressive challenge to her throne, she fought back from a wheelchair, taking on the marauding BJP strength for strength. So this is why Mamata Banerjee is hero number 1. She led her troops to an epic win while defeating a 2-term anti-incumbency. She fought off the most super-aggressive BJP campaign in recent memory while handily making the left Congress combine extinct in the state. Now let's move on to our second hero of the day. No less a hero today, and in many ways even more historic, is Kerala's Pinarayi Vijayan. Facing an energized UDF and a spirited campaign by Rahul Gandhi, he has prevailed against all odds. So this is why Pinarayi Vijayan is hero number 2 in our list. With his historic successive second term in Kerala, he has defeated the state's half-century record for anti-incumbency. Pinarayi Vijayan has been rewarded handsomely for his handling of the COVID crisis, which began in his state. Moving on to hero number 3. The third big hero of the day is undoubtedly the BJP's Himanta Biswa Sarma. The face of the BJP in Assam spearheaded the party's defense against an energized Congress and its local allies. The BJP's super solid organization man ensured the BJP came under zero threat this election, overseeing a high-profile Assam campaign and ensuring the Congress didn't stand a chance to make its presence felt. Now let's move on to hero number 4. M.K. Stalin is all set to be the next Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. His victory confirming the unanimous expectations from pollsters, analysts and the like. And even though it wasn't the spectacular tsunami or landslide he would have been hoping for, he's still a hero for the following reasons. Stalin's DMK defeated the ruling AIA-DMK at a time when Chief Minister Edappadi K. Palaniswamy was seen as having delivered good governance during the COVID crisis, toppling EPS at his strongest. Stalin also managed allies smartly by not giving them too many seats. And with this victory, formally launches the next generation of his famous family into the throne of Tamil power. But only 5 true heroes. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, after a delay of 2 days, the national capital will start the vaccination drive for 18-plus individuals today. This comes after Delhi government a quota of 4.5 lakh vaccine doses on Saturday. They got it. Due to limited supply, though, of vaccines, only those with appointments will be administered the vaccine. Of course, walk-ins won't be allowed. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal urged people not to rush to vaccination centres if they don't have an appointment. This comes as Delhi reported 20,394 new cases in just the last 24 hours. With this, active cases in Delhi have now breached 92,290 mark. 407 people have lost their lives due to COVID-19 in just the last 24 hours. Now, oxygen is the first line of treatment against coronavirus, and right now, India is gasping for it. A joint statement has been released by leaders of 13 opposition parties, urging the Prime Minister to ensure uninterrupted flow of oxygen supplies to all hospitals and healthcare centres across the country. Signatories include Congress National President Sonia Gandhi, Shiv Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray, Chief Minister of Bengal Mamta Banerjee, NCP leader Sharad Pawar. Leaders of 13 national and regional parties have now requested the centre to launch a free mass vaccination program as well. In the statement, leaders called upon the central government to utilize the budget of 35,000 crores for free mass vaccination that has been allocated for the vaccination program. The acute shortage of oxygen has hit India at a very crucial juncture here, when the country is reporting about 4 lakh cases in just the last 2 days and fighting a ferocious battle against the second wave of COVID-19. A top government panel has now suggested that the second COVID wave in India could peak this week. By 7th of May, the same panel, the National COVID-19 Supermodel Committee, had even warned the government in April itself about, in fact, the first week of April itself, the government was warned about a second wave of COVID-19 to hit India at the earliest. Sneha Murdani reports.
There will be a second wave in India, and that is expected soon, had warned the Committee on COVID-19 Supermodel on the 2nd of April itself, raising questions on whether this was paid any heed to. Scientists who made this prediction, however, say that they did not expect the second wave to be so ferocious.
Somewhat optimistic estimates for the peak, which have since proven to be incorrect. We thought the second wave would peak out at around between 1 to 1.2 lakhs at the daily maximum. As it turned out, the disease became far more contagious during the month of April. So with the result that the daily case peaks kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and now we are at around 4 lakhs.
This comes at a time when the country is witnessing a critical situation with a rapidly increasing case burden, sending hundreds to hospitals and morgues. The 3-member National COVID-19 Supermodel Committee was formed by the central government to make projections about the spatial and temporal spread of the pandemic. They suggest that different states are peaking at different times, but the nationwide peak is expected as early as the 7th of May.
The pandemic basically started in the state of Maharashtra. So Maharashtra is already in a decline. You will see that. Now other states started peaking a little bit later because the pandemic traveled across the country. So they will peak perhaps not next week, but the week after that. To summarize all of that in one single number, if you take the nationwide total cases, we anticipate a peak by the end of next week.
Also adding that a natural outcome would be a decline in cases start May 7th. Epidemiologists say that credible mathematical projections are necessary to understand and charter the course of the pandemic and tweak the responses around the projections and the predictions. It is clear that this particular panel did tell the government of India that a second wave is expected. What did the government really do about it? Did the government look into these suggestions? And what were the preparations then made to handle this monster raging second wave? The question is yet to be answered. In New Delhi, Sneha Moldani for India Today.
Now slipping into a short break there. On the other side, we're going to bring to you news from the Indian Premier League. Let's stay tuned.